Welcome to Nasha's Art. Today I'm going to show you how to make these super gorgeous little tote bags. I used them when I needed to give quite a few little presents out to my friends, and it was just such a fun way to customize a bag. I actually wrote their names on the back as well, which they loved, and I filled them with lots of goodies. So it's such a great way to use fabric paints to customize a bag really quickly to give as a gift. In order to get the square shape on my bag, I cut a hole in the lid of a box, and that allows me to spray through it and get the shape that I want on the bag. Once I do that, I then make sure that I put a piece of cardboard in between the layers of the bag, because when you paint on one side, it can seep through the fabric and stain the other side of your bag, which you don't want. So that's a really important step to do. The fabric paints I use for this project are Tulip and Pabio spray paint. This is not just normal spray paint, it's actually spray paint for fabric. So fabric textile spray paint. Some of them come in tins and others come in plastic bottles, and they have a spray nozzle at the top that can get blocked, so it's good to run it under water after you've used it. The other paint I use is Tulip dimensional paint. Some people call it puffy paint, and it's a really great paint for adding sort of raised decorations and writing or doing detailed patterns. Once you've placed the cardboard stencil where you want it on the tote bag, it's just a question of building up the layers of spray paint. This bit doesn't really need a lot of planning, it's quite spontaneous. Just make sure you fill any gaps that you need, and also make sure that you press down the stencil so that the paint doesn't slip in between and get on the tote bag where you don't want it. My most exciting bit, I don't know about you, is when you get to take the stencil off and it reveals your pattern. Super exciting, and I'm about to do this bit. I love taking it off, and here we go. Woohoo! At this point you'll notice the paint is quite wet, so you will need to leave it for a few hours to dry, and then you need to check the instructions on your spray paint to see whether you need to iron them or not. That's an important step, so make sure you check and do that first before you do the next layer of decoration on top. The Tulip dimensional paint is great for adding embellishments and details. It's also nice to draw words with, if that's the sort of thing you like doing. I use it just to create a simple wiggly border and then some little decorations outside of the border, just to make the pattern look a bit more interesting. Sometimes the nozzle gets a little blocked, so it's important to unblock it first, otherwise the paint can come out all kind of blobby. The thing I love the most about the Tulip dimensional paint is that you don't need to iron it. What you do is, once you've done your patterns, you leave them to dry for 4 hours, trying to leave them as flat as possible as well. And then after 72 hours, it is washable. I always say though, when you wash anything that's been fabric painted, always wash it on cold. You can wash it in the machine, inside out, and on a cold wash. Or if it's something that you really value, then hand wash it, and that will preserve it for longer. I like to go in freehand and add my designs on top of the layers of spray paint. If you're not confident yet doing that, try out your pattern on a spare bit of fabric and then start working on top of your layers of pattern. If you do find that there are air bubbles trapped in the paint as you're applying it, then treat it a bit like applying ketchup to chips, and shake the bottle nozzle down so that the paint gathers towards the front near the nozzle, and then it will flow smoothly. You can see right here there's a little air bubble trapped, and that's what I mean about just shaking the bottle to get it down near the nozzle. I hope you've loved this tutorial and found it really useful. Do check out my other fabric painting tutorials. I'll put them in the link below. And you can also have a look at my art at Nash Henkel Art on Insta and Facebook. Please do like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.